Hello, this video is going to be about YMAX, stock ticker YMAX, and where the stock could go into the future. Now, first and foremost, I think I caught someone watching one of my videos. Let's listen in.
In August and July of 2024, this was before we had tariffs, before we had all of the stuff currently going on that people are now attributing to this pullback in the market. And this was definitely a time of massive fear, what is known as capitulation.
Okay, I think we've seen enough. You probably aren't watching this video, but if you are, you've probably seen a previous video to where I've been harping on this July 2024 move for what feels like over a week. And for him to say just now, I am offended. Sir, I am offended. All right? I've been screaming at the mountaintop, and I even put price targets. I am just flabbergastedly offended for him to say such travesty. Anyway, let's talk about where the stock could go into the future, because I love this stuff. Second and foremost, because first and foremost was I caught someone watching my videos. That's hilarious. He will make a claim that, oh, I've never seen this video in my life, but I bet you he watched a couple. Anyway, so we're still in this potential down to 1246 YMAX, okay? We're out of the regression channel. If we go to the monthly chart, we're back in the regression channel. And the low of this candle was 1351, and the low of the channel is about 1344. So isn't that fancy? It stayed inside of the regression line as opposed to this candle back in July. Remember, we still have a little bit more to go if this entire move is going to be this entire move, if that makes any sense. So we talked about how YMAX has the big dogs in the last video, and I wanted Netflix to 910. 910. And if we look to the daily chart here, the 1 minute daily chart, we can see that Netflix has hit 910 on the dot. 910 and slightly above. 910 and rejected. 910 successfully target hit. Where can we go from now? We don't care. Technically, if I was in the trade, I'd be out of it. There could be some continuation, but I think right now in the stock market, we do not have an entire stock market upward motion. I do not think we have that. I think we have a fish. We're going fishing, and the fish are stocks that are going to catch some momentum, and they're just waiting for the proper indicators. All right, so we toss a lure out there, the lure being our indicators, and if we fish in the right spot, we just might catch one. So Netflix, I think, was this week's fish, and I fished it out good. All right, we hit 910. Now, after I hit 910, well, what do I want to see in the future? Of course, we want to see some EMAs hold and bounce all the way up to 940-ish. That would be great. That would be great for YMAX. All right, I'm already invested. I technically do not have to buy a single option for the rest of my life while I'm invested into YMAX, because they trade the options for me. All right, so I could be spending money hand over. Now, I could have made $500 this morning if I logged on and said, yeah, you know what, I think it's going to hit 910 today, and I buy that 910 call for $500. All right, and if I was lucky and held until exactly 910, I'd be selling for a good $600-700 profit on one contract. But let's be realistic here. I could only afford one or two contracts at a time. So I am not going to buy one or two contracts at all right? That's a lot of money. That $500 a contract, it's expensive as hell. Okay, so yeah, of course I would love to see continuation, but technically I'm happy. Netflix should be good. We should see some. We just needed a relief bounce and some sideways motion. We go back to the weekly chart. We can see that we do have. I do not think it's gonna super duper crash like we see here. All right, so the irony is, this box that I created, if we move it to today's candle, lines up with the 200 EMA on the weekly chart. And that scares me. So apparently the stocks can go much lower. All right, but on the weekly chart, what I was talking about for a relief bounce was the RSI being outside of the Bollinger Band. Now I'll provide you a link to this specific indicator so you can interpret the indicator as you wish, and you can go and you can dig deep into some of your favorite stocks and trade the indicator as you see fit. Okay, I'm not going to tell you to buy, I'm not going to tell you to sell, because right now everything's getting negative. Okay, we had a cross down not too long ago, 2 weeks ago. With the stochastic, we have the money flow going into negative. Okay, we have the Bollinger Band with the RSI. So the Bollinger Band is essentially a slower RSI. So if you do not have Bollinger Bands, you don't need them. Just pretend it's like a 20 EMA RSI. Okay, so you can put an RSI on top of an RSI. One's fast, one's slow. And then just say, oh my goodness, the RSI is way far away from the other RSI. I assume that it should be like a rubber band and bounce back. Okay, well, we've got our first little bounce, but we're not quite, just not quite my tempo. Are you rushing? Are you rushing? Let's not rush into it. All right? Are you dragging? All right, don't be late. All right, you can't rush, but you can't be late. I'm about to throw a chair at you, all right? You make your own decisions. So, I really think everyone's looking at 23. GME, everything for GME is working into this pattern's favor. I drew some lines today. Now, I know GME is not on YMAX, but you gotta love patterns, right? Patterns are there for a reason. The reason being self-fulfilling prophecies. I think that everything is now self-fulfilling prophecies. You just self-manifestation, all right? I'm going to self-manifest GME going back and testing this $23 level, all right? And then it's going to use the EMAs to bounce up into this bottom triangle, all right? We're manifesting GME back to 23.50, all right? Everything's looking good. We're getting a positive RSI. We got a cross up, but that's only on the 1 hour. If we go to the weekly, disgusting, lower. Nothing says buy. And the monthly is even worse. Even on Netflix. On Netflix, if you go to the monthly, it's disgusting. Oh my goodness. Now is the time to buy puts. Long dated puts, maybe. Long dated puts on the monthly chart for everything across the board. Even the SPY. The SPY could go down even further. The SPY is the most disgusting. It is the cross down and the cross down, and the money flow is going negative. Now the money flow is still positive, so we could have this thing called a higher for longer. But even on the weekly chart is way oversold on the SPY. So be careful buying puts tomorrow. Do not buy puts tomorrow. Wait for the opportune moment. Okay? You just gotta wait for these things, okay? We're we're waiting. All right, the stocks are taking turns. So the first week was Microsoft and Google. All right, I fished them out. Now they tanked. Now I thought they were going to last a little bit longer, especially Microsoft. I thought Microsoft is going to be like, "Hey, look at me. I'm going to do a bear flag, but look at that. They're using the bottom of the channel that I created." Actually, that Microsoft created this channel. Now, don't be surprised if they catch a little bid back into the bear flag for future selling. All right, they're not just gonna sell straight down. No stock, well, except for Tesla. So let's talk about Tesla. Now the other day, I remember saying that Tesla is probably gonna go back and test 231. 231 before it could crash lower, right? Well, it did the to the 230. What was it? The daily chart, yeah. So look at that. Now this is I'm not gonna say it's a sell, but it's bearish. They closed below what would be the 200 EMA on the weekly chart on the daily chart, if that makes any sense to you. But they did close above it on the weekly chart, which is kind of bullish. So they're in no man's land. And if we look on the weekly chart, they're in way oversold territory. So there should be somewhat of a bounce. Now, if it does not bounce at all, well, I have this great idea for you to check out on the daily chart or the 4-hour chart. Now, if on the daily chart, if you draw a line from the top of Tesla to the 20 EMA or the 50 EMA, I'm sorry, and then you take that line and you take it to today's 50 EMA, look at the price at 212. All right, and then look at the price at where it's been bouncing. So this is all in line. Like there's some algorithm that keeps track of all this shit. So this is an extreme, right? This is an extreme distance from the EMA. It keeps track of how far the distance could be in the future. So if it gets to this extreme distance from the EMA, they start buying it up. It makes perfect sense to me. I don't know about you, but that's also a technique. Now, the wild thing is if we go to the 4 hours, I don't even have to move the lines. The lines match up with the 200 EMA. So you move it to the 200 EMA and we get the same. It even came close to tapping it in the after hours. I did not even notice. 215. So it comes directly down to even the 4 hours looks bullish. We got the RSI cross over the middle. We got the cross over the stochastic. Tesla looks prime for a nice little bounce up into 250. All right, 250 on the 4-hour chart. Okay. Bitcoin. What a surprise, what a surprise. I had no clue it was going to bounce. But I want you to notice the 84K level has now been dignified with a top wick on the weekly chart. All right, we've been calling this 84K level out for a while. All right, this 84K level was built by this bull flag. And if you build the bull flag, there's this 84K level. And on the 1-minute chart, 5-minute chart, you can see that there was levels built around 84K. Now we have a clear indication of 84K being a top wick. All right, the top wick is not good. We could see a push back into 90K if we get a closing above 84K. Now we need some sort of closing above 84K on the Bitcoin. And it looks like it might just get a daily close over the 84K. But look, right above 84K is the 200 EMA resistance. at 85.6. So we have positive RSI. We're about to get a cross up. It looks like we're going to be testing 85.6 sooner. Oh, the candle just turned green in front of my eyes. The candle just turned green in front of my eyes. So let's see tonight a test of 84K, a break of 84K, and into the 200 EMA. I think that would be a great reversal. It could fail. It could fail right back into 81K. No, all right, there's no guarantee. So I'm going to wrap this video up, but everything looks like even on the 4-hour, we can see that we got the support from the 20 EMA, and the 50 EMA lines at right above 84K with the 200 EMA. So there's a lot of resistance at 85K, a lot of resistance. By the time these candles get up there, these two EMAs will align for another push to the downside. So be cautious. You're going to make a sandwich. It's a sandwich. You're between the EMAs. It's going to be an EMA sandwich, 84K squeeze maybe. It could, if we don't break 84K, it's going to be a squeeze play. All right? So like the EMAs are going to come down, the EMAs are going to come up. All right? And it will be a point of no return to where it just picks a direction. Which direction is it going to go? Well, pay attention to your indicators. You might just pick the right direction. And there's so many things to talk about, especially when it comes to Canada, but we'll leave that for another day. This video is too long.